Okay, so today on Who Would Win, it is a battle between two guys who have killed Thor and Superman. It is the Destroyer versus Doomsday. And this will be a very good battle to look at right off the bat. The Destroyer is like a living weapon. It can't act without a host, you know. A weapon is only as good as the person behind it as well, so it would also depend on who's in the Destroyer. It could be somebody who's rotten to the core, wants to kill people like Loki or Doctor Doom, and it could also be somebody who's good and wants to protect people like Thor or Odin. But anyway, this thing, the Destroyer, was made by the All-Father himself, Odin, and whatever it is made out of, it is even harder than Thor's hammer, as proven that it can take repeated shots from Thor's hammer and not even be phased by it. Doomsday, he can act on his own free will. He can act on his own. Usually that act would be to kill, but he can act on his own nonetheless. But anyway, let's get to the screenshot so I can have a better comparison of these two and talk about their powers more. So let's get to that screenshot now. Okay, so this is the screenshot from superherodb.com/versus, and according to this, the Destroyer has 10 points, Doomsday has 13, so it's like, Doomsday would definitely beat him, but let's get to the power grid, which, in this case, like, sometimes the power grid is, like, debatable, but I think in this case, Doomsday, I'm not sure which, like, Doomsday they used, for this screenshot, but I don't think that they used the everyday Doomsday, you know, the one that killed Superman, because his is, I think, a little bit too high. But anyway, the power grid. Intelligence, that one surprisingly goes to Doomsday, even though for intelligence in combat, as far as the Destroyer, to me it would depend on who is actually in it, you know, because it could be, anybody who gets their hands on this thing. So anyway, back to the power grid. Strength, that one goes to the Destroyer. Speed, I think that says Doomsday. Durability, that one goes to him surprisingly as well, because I know Doomsday can take a substantial amount of abuse, but we're talking about the Destroyer that has taken shots from Thor's hammer and not, even phase. So power, I think it says full red bar, so Doomsday as well. And combat, that one goes to surprisingly Doomsday, because Doomsday, the one that I am currently thinking that is the everyday Doomsday, he's not really known for combat really. He's more of a like the Hulk, a punch and kick machine. So, strength. For the Destroyer, he can lift over 400 tons, which is 880,000 pounds. Doomsday, I'm not sure, because, Doomsday, he has gone strength for strength with Superman, and Superman is pretty much as strong as it gets, so I don't think this is accurate, but according to this, 220,000 pounds. So the superpowers, this will help out a bit, because I'm not exactly sure like what is all of the Destroyer's powers. So for the Destroyer, he has energy blast, levitation, he has molecule manipulation, size changing, and super strength. And for Doomsday, he has adaptation, durability, energy absorption, healing factor, natural weapons, natural armor as well. He has natural reflexes, regeneration. He also has resurrection, self-sustenance, super speed. He also has stamina and super strength. Alright, so who do I think would win between the Destroyer and Doomsday? Normally I would beat around the bush, I guess, and talk about this, try to analyze this, but honestly, I think that the Destroyer would beat Doomsday, because Doomsday at a distance, he really doesn't have anything for distance, and the Destroyer does have, as it says, an energy blast. So, and when this fight moves in close, I picture that the Destroyer, since this thing, whatever it is made out of, is even harder than Thor's hammer. And Doomsday, even though he can take abuse pretty well, I don't think he can take abuse as well as the Destroyer. So I think that the Destroyer has him beat there as well. So the only way I picture that Doomsday would beat the Destroyer is if it were like a different kind of thing. Like if it were the Smallville Doomsday, which is his alter ego being Davis Bloom, and the Destroyer being the one from the Thor film. You see, with that Destroyer, it was kind of disappointing because that Destroyer wasn't shown to be nearly as durable and stuff like that. So if that were the case, then I think that Doomsday would win, but we're not talking about that in this case. We're talking about the comic book ones. So I think that the Destroyer would win. However, the scenario for this one is pretty simple, I think. Like, I picture it being kind of like Hulk versus Thor, the animated short from Marvel, where Loki would transport Doomsday into Asgard to take down Thor, and he would try to control Doomsday, but then Doomsday would break free, and if Doomsday got past Thor somehow, then somebody would activate the Destroyer, and then the fight's on from there. But as I said, I think that the Destroyer would win. Let me know what you think about this one. Let me know which one do you think would win between the Destroyer and Doomsday. Also, leave any ideas for a matchup below. And I'll see you next week with another Who Would Win.